I'm NGWANYAM. Yufenyu, hear from God. Did I say native name that was given to me? Nicholas was my baptismal name. And when I checked it out, I realized that Nicholas means Nikolaus or something like that in German, which means Father Christmas. Yeah. And Ngwanyam, which is our family name, turns out to be Ngwanya, someone who shares meat. So you see, I'm called upon to be generous. Now, that said, I was born on the 27th of July in 1956 in Kambe, and we had a very difficult childhood. I went to primary school in PS Kambe, and we used to trek long distances on gravel roads with a lot of dew and so on to get to school. But thank God we went through that, and for 7 years in primary school I made it. So we went to primary school. We started primary school in the days when the things was standard 1, standard 2 in those days. But somewhere along the line it was changed to class 1, class 2, that kind of thing. This is my story. This is my song. When I finished primary school, I was very young. My father was not around to be able to sponsor me, so I stayed in class 7 for 2 years. And when he showed up, he didn't even have money to pay my deposit to CPC Bali in good time because I had passed the entrance examination. So by the time he came up with the deposit and I found my way to Bali, I was late. And so that's how I was sent to JMBC, which was a sister college. And I happened to be in JMBC for 2 years. Then when my father was moved back to Bali as a primary school teacher, he took me back there and I enrolled into Form 3 in CPC Bali. Went to Form 5 and Upper 6 and I completed there.
Dr. Nick Ngwanyam is a schoolmate who met at college in the early 70s. We've been together since 1973 in secondary school back in CPC Bali, where he joined us from JMB Sindhu in Form 3, and we went together through to the A-levels. After the A-levels, he went to the then QS Medical School, and I went to Ibadan Medical School. We've been together ever since for 43 years. Nick Ngwanyam is a very intelligent. He used to be very intelligent at school, very hardworking, and very entrepreneurial. Because back at school, he used to do photography and created a photo club. Because of him, the school gave a laboratory where we could develop pictures. So he started being an entrepreneur since from college.
I'm a product of scholarships in the sense that I went to CPC Bali and the Presbyterian Mission paid part of my fees, by virtue of the fact that my father was a primary school teacher for the Presbyterian Mission. And when I'd finished secondary and high school with that partial scholarship program, I went to QS, and it was the Cameroonian taxpayers' money that was used to train me. And I appreciate that, and I respect that, and I honor every Cameroonian for that, because it's your tax money that was used to pay me. If it was left to my father, I would not have been who I am today.
Well, when he resigned his job in the then political days, and he came and was in Bamenda without a job, although he was posted to Kumba Hospital, I found that very spectacular, because how could somebody who has a job, he abandoned it and came, and there was no future. He was a qualified surgeon. And we used to meet, and he said, well, he will try to create something. He will try to rally some forces, create either a clinic or do something. So that was really very spectacular.
I'll let her know. This school is built on 12,000 square meters here, and we noticed that we needed to grow ourselves. We needed to grow the institution. We are thinking down the road. We are thinking of the next 400 years down the road. So we approached the government and the Menankwe village. We approached His Excellency Governor Kumpa Issa when he was still here, governor, and we asked him for 50,000 square meters of land. And the administration working with the Menankwe Council, they actually allocated us that land up in the station, and we made a business plan. And the first business plan we made showed that we needed about 3 billion francs to actually build that institution the way we wanted. And what is it that we wanted? We want a state-of-the-art kind of school with all the technology, the study classrooms, the laboratories, the technology that the students would need, with about 500 student residential rooms, with student restaurant.
Okay, the school, as you would see, is a school that trains professionals in the field of paramedical studies, paramedical profession. So it's mainly focused or specialized in the paramedical sector.
I want to continue to train students who are of international quality. We want to be able, if we are saying that the Philippines sends 7,000 to 9,000 students to the developed countries every year, I want to challenge all Cameroonians and institutions like this one to be able to fight for that market. Nobody stops us from fighting for that market. So I want to be able to push myself and push everyone else so that we can go for that market and earn something. We have to step up. What am I saying? If we have many of our children who go to all these places and study, we are going to benefit in many ways. First, they are going to be sending back a lot of money which would help their families, and by so doing, they'll be fighting poverty. Secondly, we'll be taking out a lot of the children from the streets, and they would have jobs, and there will be a lot of containment. Our country is going to be more stable. And then, secondly, because they'll be studying in the health fields, when they come and interact with the locals here, by virtue of that osmosis, what we do in Cameroon will begin to improve, because we have a lot of our children who are coming back, who are interacting with the locals here and so on. So a lot will begin to improve. And so I see a lot of fallout from what we do in the near future. This is part of our corporate social responsibility at St. Louis. We noticed that there were always a couple of accidents around this hill. You notice the station hill, and down here is a precipice. And you will notice that these trees were planted in the 1980s by the former mayor, Papefok. And in the meantime, there were these gaps, and they were not replaced. So last year, we replaced them with these trees. As you can see them, these trees are about a year old. We replaced them with about 2,500 trees. In the meantime, this grass, it got dry in the dry season, and many of them were burned. And so this year, we replaced them with about 1,100 young trees, which we'll be able to see. So we planted them all along here, and we hope that when they grow, they will provide the security and the protection for the vehicles that are coming down, or for the vehicles that have lost their brakes, so that they don't fall again into the ditch here. And as you can see, there's this other place here that is collapsing up here. It was our hope. It was our hope that we should plant all of that hill with more eucalyptus to be able to hold the ground. It's very disheartening to see the place collapsing like that, and we hope that with time we'll be able to do so. I hope we will make it, but even before I close up that topic of the school, let me remind you again, we train in 7 fields at 2 levels. We train nurses, medical lab technicians, pharmacy technicians, dental technicians, ultrasonography and radiology technicians, what you call in French imagerie médicale. We train midwives. Our first batch of midwives just wrote the exam this year set by the Ministry of Higher Education. And we are looking forward to starting the degree program next year that is sanctioned by the University of Boya. And if I've not forgotten, I think I didn't mention physiotherapy. Physiotherapy, the head of department is Dr. Krishna from India. You know, we don't have many physiotherapists, so we are obliged to go afield to look for people who can come and cross-pollinate us and give us the capacity to stand on our feet. That said, we train in these 7 departments in the diploma. You come in with your A-levels, and we train you for 3 years. Then you write the examination that is set by the Ministry of Higher Education. When you pass that examination and you get your higher professional diploma, then you come in for 1 year and you can study at the degree level. When you finish, you get your degree. And this degree is given by the University of Boe.
It's good. It's a wonderful experience, and with the experience, a good opportunity for me to talk to the students, to try to solve the problems. So it's good to be here. Let me tell you, this school is unique in many ways. Even if I compare from India, this is an institute which gives you freedom to understand the things. You know, when we talk about studies, we have to work on a concept we call it Bloom's taxonomy. This an institute which tries to hit all the levels of that. Here we don't tell the students to cram, but we tell them to understand, and we try to meet with the modern things, modern way of teaching. For example, if you visit all over the school, you'll not find the blackboards or whiteboards. You'll find only the projectors, and every lecturer teaches with the PowerPoint presentation. So this is how we are trying to make the difference.
I met my wife Florence in the university. I think I was in medical school, 3rd year at the time. And don't forget that in those days we had our A-levels when we were already quite old. It's not like these days when you have... I guess we had our A-levels at the same age that students are having their first degrees today. So it was a different ball game. And so I met Florence, and she was studying in QS as well. And that's how we got talking, and we got together, and we eventually got married. We married in Yaoundé. She's also from the same tribe like I am. I'm from Tundip, actually born in Kambi, but I'm from Tundip. But she is from the Fons Palace in Mot. So when we went to Nairobi to study, we actually married in the Catholic Church.
Oh, you put to sit there. You want to come and start down there. Thank you.
We have 4 kids. They're all grown up now, of course. The eldest is 30, and we have 3 boys and 1 girl. He studies at the Boston University in America, and he's soon going to graduate as a medical doctor. So we have our daughter who studies in the University of Johannesburg, and she's an accountant. She's back in Cameroon working. We have another boy who studied in the UK. He's an engineer. He's also back in Cameroon, trying his feet on the ground. And we still have another boy in Germany also studying engineering. So we are blessed. Now at home, they are all gone. The house is empty, but we have a lot of godchildren and some other relatives who are living with us, and we are trying to push them as well.
The place is too dry. I just need the small, so let me use the dry paper. I'm not putting anything inside.
He caught my attention when he was working in Betwa. And when he left there, and came to Bamenda. Then I really got to know him better.
I've had different mentors at different stages of my life, and when the vision had changed, the mentors too had changed. I got a lot of inspiration from Pafoncha. I got a lot of inspiration from people like Professor Anomangu. I got a lot of inspiration actually from Frundi. I was inspired by his charisma and his courage and many other things. So there have been many mentors along the road depending on what I wanted to do.
In fact, I like to see him in the light of a developer rather than so much as a businessman. You know, he wants young people to be on their feet. The school that he's running in St. Louis there, you know, he brings children who are not able to pay fees, children from desperate families, and brings them up. What more can you do to ensure that your fellow countrymen develop, other than holding their hands and letting them cross the first bridge? You know, that to me is a wonderful thing, which I think should be greatly encouraged.
Founder is a very simple person, very open to youth, very open to students, and is a man with his own personalities, as being having discipline as one of his watchwords.
For me, he's more like a guardian than a proprietor, because the way he handles the issues and he handles a relationship. It's more like he gives you the freedom to handle the stuffs in your own style.
Oh, this is my story. This is my song.
She was a fervent Catholic. I happen to be Presbyterian, and because of my family upbringing, my mind was very cloudy as to the place of witches and wizards and native doctors because of the kind of doctrine we were living under. So because of her strengthening influence, I became a Catholic, and I followed her encouragement so much that I literally was able to withstand the pressure from my father, thinking about witches and witchcraft and that kind of thing. She helped me to grow my religious beliefs.
The journalist and the team leader. The team leader. Yes. Welcome to Bamenda.
He has been trying to live his Christian life in a convinced way. And that has also influenced his profession as well. You know, when you live your Christian life properly, I think he's one who practices his faith, who tries to live it not just going to church, but also applying it in his profession.
I try to be caring, I don't know, but I know that there were a couple of things that I missed in my childhood that I wanted my children to have. In fact, playing the piano is something I enjoyed a lot, so I made sure I bought my children a piano, an electronic keyboard to play with. Growing in those days, the children of the white managers, they had bicycles to ride on, and we were riding on wooden bicycles. So I thought I should give my children bicycles or tricycles to be able to have fun. But I try to do my best to be a good father without actually spoiling the children. The project that is supposed to take place here, we are building about a 3-story building here, which would be a supermarket. It would have a conference hall, would have a restaurant, would have a pharmacy, and saloon and cleaning services They would all be here, and we have a place for customers to park their cars up here, and then much further beyond, over the escarpment, we are going to make a garden. In fact, we've already planted it, and from over there we are going to put benches so that people visiting Bamenda as tourists can sit and look at town. So it's going to be a leisure area, so to speak. We want to try to kind of like copy European standards and bring them here. We have to understand, whether we like it or not, we have to understand that we are spiritual beings. We have to understand that we are spiritual beings. And when you come to live on this earth, you must always find out why you are born. What is your purpose for being on earth? It's very important. A lot of people come to earth, they don't know why they were born, and they drift and they die. That is very unfortunate. When you have found your purpose on earth, then you have to find you have to have passion for that purpose. In fact, when you have passion, purpose, when you hit the nail on the head, the passion just tacks on. When you are doing something which is not your purpose, there's no passion. But the moment you can track down and say, this is my purpose on earth, the passion just comes. And purpose means that those set of problems or those set of issues that you address yourself to, that some other people might think it's such a heavy load to carry, but for you just sort them out like this. Purpose is those set of problems that you are able to solve for your good, the good of your community and the good of humanity, with little stress where others will be stressing. Purpose will be those set of problems that you solve with very little energy where others are straining. Purpose will be that set of those set of problems that you are even ready to solve for free and still be happy. Purpose will be that thing that you will get up at midnight on a cold midnight and go to do it just because you are motivated from within. Purpose will be writing a concours in the right field so that when you become the teacher, you are ready to go and teach anywhere and happily. You know, if we are failing in the country, it's because people are doing jobs that don't match their purpose. So when you are doing a job that doesn't match your purpose, there's no passion. And therefore, every morning you feel like there's a weight and you have to drag yourself. And you notice that you drag yourself through life. There's a lot of absenteeism from your work and so on. So when you've got your right purpose on earth, my brothers and sisters, when you can get your finger on your purpose, no matter what the difficulties are, you will succeed. Now, once you've got your purpose, you have to have passion, and as I said, the passion just tacks on. Then you have to make a plan to succeed in your purpose. When you've made that plan and plan very well, then present that plan to God in prayer. So then everything comes together, and everything will work. Number one, if you like work. Number two, if you like work that is well done. Number three, if excellence is part of you. Number four, if you are honest, if you are self-disciplined, if you pray, and if you respect the environment. Above all, you would only succeed and make it in life if you care about common good. It's very important. And don't cheat. Then, last but not the least, you can only succeed in these things if you are in God's plan of action. If you are doing it the way the world does it, even though you might seem to be succeeding, you will not be happy and you will get nothing at the end of the day.